Jesse James here, Insane Barber 13 on Instagram. This is Bill, our model for the day. We're going to be giving him a flat top. We're going to make this special. We're going to make this a step-by-step on how to do his flat top. So we're going to start with a 2 on the side. We're going to taper down the edges, kind of clean it up, and then we're going to take maybe a quarter, maybe a half inch out of the top. We're going to start with our 2. We're using the Babyless FX 880. I'm going to bring it right up to the temple, straight across the occipital bone. And we're going to start our base. I'm going to go ahead and close my 2. As you can see, we've got the nice little lever here. So we're all the way closed. I'm going to grab my Johnny B comb here. Now the technique that we're using is the scooping technique, that's C motion. And I'm not too worried about any hair that I leave down toward the bottom, because we're going to go back through and taper that in a little bit tighter just to add a little bit more detail to the haircut here. Alright, now we're going to go through and I'm going to use same clipper, my FX 880. I'm going to leave it open. And we're going to start tapering the bottom of the neck. I'm going to start open. This is where that C motion really comes into play. I'm coming in, I'm scooping out. We're not creating any hard weight lines. We know that any line you put in a haircut, you're going to have to take right back out. I'm going to go down to a half and go a little bit lower than what I had just gone. This is just going to give this that smoothness, that nice transition, a really sharp blend. I'm going to close it. Now we've got our 1 on. I've opened that lever back up. I'm going to come into this just to help even out that transition between our 1 and our 2. And as you can see, it's starting to come together. We've got a really good scoop going. When I work, I like to work side to side, from right to left. We're going to drop it. We've closed that lever. Go right back through one more time. Now you can start seeing that detail that we're starting to get out here. I'm going to work around the ears now. I've opened it back up. So we're using 1, lever's all the way open. I'm going to go real light through this bottom. As you can see, when I'm cutting against the way that the hair grows. Now the benefit of it is it's all laying down the way that I need it to. It's going to stay laying that way, so that way when our client leaves, when Bill gets out of the shop here, he doesn't have to worry about trying to over direct his hair to get it to lay that the way he wants. So doing the same thing on this other side here, nice and low, keeping things tight. Still using that one open. So we're gonna get our edgers out and just tighten things up real quick before we move on to working on that blend. Keep things nice and low, and as we scoop into it, it gives us that really awesome transition. I'm coming in with, you know, a light touch. We're not, you can see from the neck that we're not agitating the neck, we're not irritating the skin any. We're coming in around the ear. This is what scares everybody. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull the ear down. I'm going to follow that natural shape of the ear. So we're going to go and follow the arch of the hairline. Now I'm going to push the ear down again. And we're just using the tip. We're just using the tip of the blade here. Again, we're following that natural hairline as we come down. I don't like to jump into the hairlines. And since we're right here, we're just going to grab these loose hairs off real quick. We're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. What I'll do on this side is I'll put a finger in his ear and just kind of push it down just to get the arch done. And then I'll push the ear down. See, I'll fold the ear down, I come over. Sometimes I'll rest the clipper on my finger and give myself a little bit of an extra pivot point. For those of you wondering, these are not zero gaps. They can be zero gap, but these are not. I'm gonna make sure I get the hair off the ear. All right, so we've got our babyless Volair, or X2, Johnny B fade comb, and we've got some hair to take off. So with a flat top, I like to keep, the goal is to keep it as square as possible. We're gonna leave the sides square, we're gonna leave the top flat, but we're gonna follow the curvature of the head. We're gonna blend this right into the crown. So that way it's rounded on, when you look at it from the side profile, it's rounded going into flat. Well then when you look at it from the front profile, it's gonna be flat with squared corners. As we come in, I'm picking up. You can see where it starts to get a little bit longer. I'm coming in, I'm scooping out, and the comb isn't flat up against the head. It's actually off the head. We're trying to keep things at a 45-degree angle. first thing I like to do is get my sides kind of shaped down, start working on that general shape. I'm not in a hurry to, you know, like get to one pass and call it done. Like to kind of work on it a little bit, take a little bit, see how it looks, how it lays, and then move forward. The back I can get all rounded out because I'm pretty confident with that. So the method that we're using, you know, again, this is some clip over the comb, and we're kind of building up, we're fading up versus going down. It's all on preference. My preference is to build up. So when we come at this, you can see that I'm picking up the hair against the way that it naturally wants to lay. I'm not coming in this way. I try to avoid blending this way because it over directs the hair a little bit. So we got my base set up. Still a little bit longer on this right side, but I can work that down. Now we're going to start taking a little bit of length out of the top. Before I do that, I'm going to put a little bit of something in it and to, you know, help get the hair to stand up a little bit better. All right, so what we're going to use is Johnny B's Extra Hold. It's a wax-based pomade that's going to help us keep control over what we're doing. It also adds a little bit of shine, so it's going to help the clipper, you know, cut through things a little bit better. He's got really good hair already, so I'm not going to blow dry it up yet. We're going to save that for our final step, and then when we go through and check to make sure everything looks good. So again, we're coming at this with the X2, my fade comb. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a base, my guide, right down the middle. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to start small and make a pass going across over the comb this way. And then we'll go back and check it. I might make a few, and then I'm going to base everything off that guideline, the center guideline. So we're going to build this way off our guideline, we'll build this way off our guideline. I'm not worried too much about the corners yet. My goal first is to get the top length set, and then we'll go back and tighten up the corners. So what I like to do is I'll start, and I work a cross body for each side. So I'll get Bill here. We'll kind of face him a little bit towards you. You don't want to make eye contact with it because that might make it a little awkward. And then we're going to grab, we've got our clipper, we've got our comb. I'm going to come in, I'm going to let the hair kind of fall forward. I'm going to pull some hair down. Nice, real steady, real smooth, even, slow passes. I'm coming back, I'm picking up, I'm taking the next section. As I get toward the crown, I start angling my comb to follow the shape of the head to give us that nice smooth transition that we want from the long up top into our number 2 on the back. Taking a little bit, I can see I can pull a little bit more through. Real slow as we move through here. Nice, smooth, even passes. All right, so we're We're gonna keep working. This is just a, so we can get a center. Now I'm gonna take and build off this guide here and work through. And I'm gonna do the same thing for the other side here. This isn't taking much off, that's okay for right now. Work on pulling some of this length out of the front. Now I'm going to come back through. I'm going to go back to the sides. And we're going to start straightening this out a little bit. You can see where we got some bushy, some poofy, where we're not quite straight. So I'm going to come back through and start taking this down a little bit. It takes some time to get used to doing a flat top the traditional way, just clipper over comb. It's a haircut that takes some time to get used to. I've done I've probably done more bad ones than I have good ones. So we're getting that bulk out of the sides. We're flattening things out right now. Keeping things nice and square. I'm just gonna keep this kind of combed going back. We're cutting, slowly taking it off. We get through here, I am gonna change the angle of my comb a little bit. This is to help me follow the shape of the head. I'm going to go back cross body here. I'll pull this up, I'll come across. Take a little bit. I take a little bit at a time because I want to make sure that it's going to lay the way that I want it to, the way that I need it to. A little bit at a time. might work on this right side a little bit more. My setting on my clipper is just a touch open, so we're right at 1.6 millimeters. It is way easier to talk through a not so technical haircut. My hesitation is all in just trying to figure out what I'm doing. And each little bit that I'm taking is just maybe a quarter, eighth of an inch at a time. It's just to start working things down. If you know, the tough part is if you make a bad pass, we ended up messing up, and you know, Bill's grumpy. We don't want Bill to be grumpy. Right now we're just smoothing out this through the occipital, or excuse me, through the crown. Starting to get a nice flow, a nice smooth shape. You know what's great about the volairs is I can get in here, I can move around. I got a nice solid clipper doing the work. Pulling this over side. A little bit at a time. go back and I'm gonna add a little bit of extra hold, and then I'm gonna blow dry this in just to help make sure we catch all the loose hairs, make sure that we can get this as absolutely flat and clean looking as possible. What's really nice and a neat thing to take note of is you can see as we add the extra hold pomade into his hair, because it does have a little, because it is a wax and oil-based pomade, you can see that it brings out some shine. Now what it also did is through the top, we've darkened it all out to where visually it's going to help you check your accuracy. So I've got my Johnny B vent brush, babyless blow dryer. Go with a little bit of medium heat. And this is just to help make sure we catch any stragglers, anything that we might have missed the first couple of passes. You know, if I feel like my Johnny B vent brush isn't working, maybe I want to work on that front, pulling it a little bit more straighter, I'll get my BYOB out, kind of round brush this up. Top's looking about where I want it to be. I see a little bit out of the sides that I want to clean up just to make it look really sharp, really crisp and clean. So I'm going to go back to my X2 and my fade comb and just start hitting these little details that I see. And as you can see, we've got things nice and smooth, nice and flat on top. Come to the back here. We'll have them look down just a little bit. I like to check my haircuts at many different angles. And my goal is to try to find any flaws that might be in the haircut before I hand them the mirror. What I like to tell people is that I'm pickier on their haircut than they are, so they don't have to worry. See a nice side profile here. You can see the tube blending right into the top. I'm just looking for any loose hairs, anything we might have missed on the first few passes. go back through and go crossbody. We're gonna work on this left corner. And then I think we might have him pretty squared away. The bad thing is since we got him looking this good, now he's gonna have to take his girlfriend over there out to dinner and dancing. I think we got him in a pretty good spot here. So just a quick recap. So we got a two on the sides, about medium. Blend that in, nice square sides. Taper down the edges. We got a nice tapered neckline. I ran a 1 right around the ears on both sides. It just helps give it a little bit more detail. Got a nice medium short men's flat top. Everything was done with over the comb. It was styled with Johnny B, and we're just gonna clean up the back of his neck and hit it with a little bit of aftershave and send him on his way. So for anybody that tuned in and watched, I just want to thank you guys for watching. This is the first flat top tutorial that we're trying out. Hopefully there'll be plenty of more down the road. You guys can follow me on Instagram at InsaneBarber13. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel. So we're using Johnny B's Premium Talc Powder. We're also using one of their neck dusters. And we're gonna finish things off with a little bit of PM aftershave. And what I normally do is I'll spray a little bit into my hands, and then we'll put it on our customers. And cut. Still rolling? Is that about right? Not too shabby. All right. Thank you guys.